Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at race number 3 at Kentucky Downs on Saturday. This is the Grade 3 Ladies Marathon. It's $1 million purse. We're going 1 mile and 5/16. Let's take a look at this field. For a 6-horse field, Mike, it's fairly wide open. Vergara, the number 5, won the Dueling Grounds Oaks last year, so we know she likes this course. She is the 2-to-1 morning line favorite, but she's coming off a 5th-place finish in the Glens Falls. Maybe that distance was a little bit too far for her.
Yeah, maybe. And we'll see. I mean, they call this the ladies marathon. Is 1 mile and 5/16 a marathon distance now? I don't know. I guess it is. It feels like Graham Motion wanted to stretch this filly out, Dan. He felt like she would handle added ground, and maybe it didn't happen last time, but that was also a pretty good field that she was facing.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for the ladies, maybe a marathon. And the 6 Glen All is expected to show some early speed. And I think what's most notable about Glen All showing early speed is she has tactical speed. She's not really a blazer, but she is stretching out off fast-paced mile and 1/16 races. Maybe they'll use that speed. Something tells me that Vergara could be forwardly placed. Transient could be forwardly placed. Even Sin Filter from the inside, who went gate to wire going 1.5 miles, 4 starts back, can be forwardly placed. So I'm not sure who's getting to the front. I do think the pace will be moderate.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't sure who was going to make the lead either. I kind of thought it would be the one stretching back out for this race for Pletcher. Maybe that'll happen, and it'll give that horse her best chance to win. I can see the 6 going forward. I don't know, man. I think this pace is a little bit murky, but like you, I certainly didn't think they'd be going fast.
Sin Filter, the number 1, is a horse that is cross-entered on Wednesday at the Downs, but I have a feeling she's going to run here for the big money against a relatively short field. And we mentioned she wired him going 1.5 miles at Keeneland. She was versatile enough to win from off the pace, going 1 1/16, 2 starts back at Ellis. And I thought she ran okay in the little prep race for this last time out, going 1 mile. I don't mind her stretching out. And to be perfectly honest, on second thought, I think Johnny V's sending her.
Yeah, I think they'll probably go too. I mean, we'll see what happens. To me, she's a really, really tough call in this race, Dan. She has an awful lot to prove as far as quality goes, but maybe distance is what she really wants. When she wired that entry-level allowance field, they went really slow early. She was terrible in her next start when they moved her up into a stakes race, but that was a closer's race, and she was part of that pace for a long way.
Mike, can you make an argument that the 2 personal best is a little bit dirtied up coming into this race? I thought she looked good in the Le Prévoyant, her first start of 2023, a race where she was just sort of saving ground, came 4 wide into the stretch. It worked out. She grinded him down as the favorite. They ran her in the Orchid. She ran fine at Gulfstream. She then had to deal with Warlike Goddess in kind of a weird situation where they put her on the lead, which might not be her best game. And last time out in the Matchmaker, it was her first race off a little bit of a layoff. Shug was kind of hinting to me that he was using the race as a prep, and that distance just might have been a little bit short for her.
Yeah, I was sort of looking at her that way too, Dan. I mean, I feel like she's probably, her last 2 races probably aren't as bad as they look. And prior to that, not only was her form good, it felt like she was just getting good at that time. I mean, she could really take another step forward here, stretching back out. She's already run at Kentucky Downs. She's already run really, really well here. It was also over this distance. There's a lot to like about this horse, and she might not be the favorite.
The 3 Transient, I wouldn't be surprised if she drifts a little bit off this 3-to-1 morning line. I liked her race 3 back in the very one at Gulfstream. It was kind of a race where she was briefly 4 wide on the backstretch. She got checked hard in between horses at the 3/8 pole, and she only got beat a length that day. Now, then they ran her in the Orchid going 1.5 miles, and again, they put her on the lead, which might not be her best game. Last time out, she did this in a synthetic race at Gulfstream. Her first start off about a 3-month layoff. She finishes it off very nicely, earned a 91 buyer. I think she's equally as good on synthetic as on turf.
Yeah, did what she was supposed to do here. This is a race where she's pretty heavily favored. She's supposed to win, and she does win, and she wins pretty easily, too. It feels like a pretty good prep race after missing, a little bit of time. And now they're going to stretch her right back out. The distance is really no issue for her. She can get any kind of a trip in a race, Dad. And like you, I sort of felt like she could drift off the 3-to-1 morning line.
Friends, you might want to jump right on top of the four-lady rock star because I'm finally going to be off her. I like to race in the Swanee River on New Year's Eve at Gulfstream Park. It was a race where she was pretty much wide around the track after braking slowly, and she just ended up finishing second. And since then, she ran okay, and then she's kind of fallen off a cliff from a form standpoint. Maybe last time out, it was a situation where that soft turf worked against her.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep searching for excuses for her, Dan. And we've done a lot of her recent races, and I feel like we're always trying to, mitigate what happened in some of those races and make excuses for her and try to stay positive on her at good prices. And then she just doesn't really deliver at the end of the day. I guess soft turf could have been an excuse last time, but she did not run well in there. She was terrible 2 starts back at Churchill Downs. I'm getting a little tired of her, but I know somewhere in there's a race that would give her a chance in here.
Third place finisher from that last race at Delaware did come back to upset the Flower Bowl with a great trip and ride with a 90 Beyer speed figure. Vergara's your morning line favorite, potential horse for course after winning the Dueling Ground Oaks. And I thought she was very, very game to win that race. Last time out in the Glens Falls, they had her going 1.5 miles. And I think she had to go early for home. And I think maybe she sprinted home a little bit too early when that 70-1 shot she was pushing early just dropped out of there and left Vergara on the lead. Maybe she moved a little bit too soon. She had the lead at the 3/16 pole, and then I think the 1.5 miles got her.
I agree with all that stuff. I mean, I actually feel like she ran pretty well last time against a field that's better than this one. And that performance, the 5th place finish, is not really indicative of how well she ran, I don't think. Again, Motion's always sort of hinted that he thinks she's going to be better going longer. She's another horse who's already run and won over this course and distance in the past. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. She can get the right kind of trip in this race. I mean, I don't think I'd be thrilled to take 2-1 on her, Dan, but I think she's a major, major player in here.
Up in class is the 6, Glenall. She has the tactical speed to be really close to the pace in here. The distance is a huge question mark. She's stretching way out from a mile race last time out. Her big signature win came 2 back going 1 mile and a 16th. So she'll have to stay the trip, and she'll have to stay the trip against horses with proven long distance form.
Yeah, I mean, she's just going to have to run the race of her life against this field here. We'll see if she can do it. Her last 2 races are fine. She's got to run better than that.
Top pick time for the Grade 3 Ladies Marathon. Mike, you're going with personal best. I understand why. Again, I talked to Shug, and he basically said to me before the matchmaker, nice start to kind of get her started back off a little bit of a layoff. This distance will be good for her. Maybe she kicks down Vergara. I'm hoping that Vergara gets the jump on her.
Yeah, I have Vergara right up there too. I thought it was sort of between those 2 horses. Maybe personal best be a little bit of a better price, and I do think she could move forward again here, Dan. I don't think we've seen her best race yet.
2543 for Mike, 5132 for me. It is the Ladies Marathon. It is a sensational Saturday afternoon of racing at Kentucky Downs. Good luck.